Out of the Sports Circus being inside the Georgia State Capitol. I'll tell you what, folks, here we are in downtown Chicago on my side, and over there in Atlanta, they're in the state capitol. I'll tell you what, Tyrone, I think you're right. But, this is good for all those people that are listening in on NBC News, CNBC Financial, Money Matters Radio up in Boston, all of our business affiliates, Westwood One News, as well as everybody else that's tuning in that wants a little bit of variety. Because, look, this is a sports show, but guess what? There's a lot of business and a lot of serious business happening on this show today. Now, what are we doing over in the state capitol?
Well, I don't know. What we do in the state capitol right now is that we're trying to make sure that everyone is safe, because it's right now in Georgia, the governor's already signed all the legislation. And what we're trying to do right now is get ready for the elections. So that's number one, because everything is in the state capitol. You got the Secretary of State's office in the state capitol. You have the governor's office in the state capitol. So just about almost all of the constitutional offices are in the state capitol.
That's good. All right, so Tyrone, are you next to be an elected official for the state of Georgia?
You know what, dude? I'm gonna follow Dewey's steps. This is my mentor. A lot of people don't know that now, but this is my mentor. Now I follow his steps. Not only football, when I need those questions, hey Dewey, what is it like when I'm gonna get in my 50s and I'm still a young guy. Dewey's still a young guy too. But if he would have shaved that gray, he'd look like he's about 25 years old. But you know what? Politics, I don't know, Sam. I think if they go back and look at my history, man, they'll probably dig some stuff up on me, and I have to bow out, man.
Sam,
you know how politics is.
Sam, he'll be okay. He just got to realize, as long as the people want you, I always tell folks that I've had 5 races, and if you do the right things, you won't never have opposition. It's just kind of like being a football player, or he's a great cornerback. Quarterbacks never threw toward him. They never threw at him because he was a good. He's a shutdown corner. If you're a shutdown corner, anybody coming to throw toward you. So, and that's what you look at in politics. I'm a shutdown politician.
Hey, I like it.
I love that. Oh, that's good stuff. All right, so everything happens over there in that building. Now, look, previously we're under your pavilion at your place. I'm under the beautiful blue sky here in downtown Chicago. What a glorious setting this is. Sitting over here on East Randolph Street, looking back at the Sears Tower, but you can call it the Willis Tower. And you have actually 2 of the former tallest buildings in the world just over this shoulder here. I have to point because our camera's going backwards here. So right over this shoulder, you have the old Standard Oil building, which is the Aon building now, which used to be the tallest building in the world. And then over this shoulder, needless to say, that one, that's the old Sears Tower, and that for many, 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 many years as the tallest building in the world. But this is the city of broad shoulders. A lot of big business gets done there, just like where you guys are at, with big business being done in that state capital in Georgia.
Yes. Big stuff happening. I know there's a lot of great bills. Georgia, Atlanta, this has been the capital. Even though there have been different cities that have been the capital, but everybody knows here in Georgia, state of Georgia. But there have been a lot of great bills. I know Dewey has been a part of a lot of great bills that have been passed, and I know he has a lot of history just leaving his legacy.
Well, but you have to realize where we are located, because see that not only that, but City Hall is directly across the street. And then roughly, if you go another 3/4 of a mile, that's where the Georgia Dome is located. So you're really in the heart. And if you ever visited Atlanta, you saw the gold dome, and that's real gold. That is real gold, and it came from Delana because they brought it back down. And it's not gold paint; it is gold dust. And so, but don't go up there and try to get any else, because they'll get you.
Right. Don't be trying to steal the Capitol building. You can't do that one. There'll be none of that. All right, guys. So we have a couple of minutes left in the first segment here. Just give me a quick rundown of something interesting that's going through the Georgia State political system right now from the athletic standpoint. What's happening with the Atlanta Falcons and the possibility of bringing fans into the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Well, and let me just say a few things about that. Last week we had a ball game, and we finished second, and we didn't have a crowd, but they piped it in. I think the next step we're going to do is see exactly how the state is doing and how we're doing with numbers-wise with COVID. And I do think that in the next probably 2 or 3 ball games, home games, you'll see some fans. Colleges are having a good chance. There'll be, in fact, I think we're going to do a show later where we'll be across the street from Georgia State, where they're hosting the Raging Cajun. So I'm looking forward to some fans being in the dome. We've got big enough space now.
You know, a lot of people say that, well, you know, it doesn't. I don't pay attention to the fans. Now, Tyrone, now you said this as well. You said, well, you know, I get into the game, and I got that. I get it completely. But at some point, the fans have some kind of positive effect on the environment, on your home field. Now, Dewey's over there nodding his yes. Tyrone, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that because a few stadiums around the NFL last Sunday, the noise, I guess the announcer that actually pipes in the noise, they actually messed up, like in Carolina. The guy was supposed to root for the Falcons, not to say the Panthers, but actually he was rooting for the Raiders. So what I mean by that is when it was time, it was a Panthers home game, but when the Panthers made a big play, he didn't play really the music or play the sound like he was supposed to. So I do agree that sometimes even the people that play the music inside the stadium, they get their cues off of the fans. And if there are no fans there, it makes it harder for them to pipe in the noise at the right time. So definitely, I agree that the fans are very, 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 very valuable in the game and the energy, even from the people who do the music. Maybe even the people who walk around saying, hot dogs, get your drinks.
Right.
Everybody got a cue.
I think so, but you know, think about this. Tyrone, you played for both teams, and you know Raider fans, the black hole, they travel very, very well. So they're going to make noise wherever they go. Just like in baseball, the New York Yankee fans are always traveling well. So I think in football, you're going to get a little bit of that. And so if there's a little bit of a screw up, it's okay. It's not a big deal because that's what the Raider fans would be doing anyway. They would be getting in there, barking and doing their thing. And that's the end of that. Listen, Tyrone, rebut that and go ahead and get us out of here.
You know what? We are here with no other than Dewey McClain. We are here in his home, the Georgia capital, Georgia State capital. How many other sports shows can say that they got partners like Dewey McClain and his representative friends here in the Dome? We'll be back with more Sports Circus. Don't go nowhere.
Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away. This is Sal Tuzolino, host and ringmaster of the Sports Circus. Why listen to the same old dog and pony show that you've heard all day long? The Sports Circus covers everything that other shows don't or are too scared to cover. There's no primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the mouth and you'll beg for more. You can call in and participate with our chaos if you dare. Join me and celebrity guests for Havoc and Mayhem weekdays at 5 p.m. Pacific here on AAMP.TV or stream the show live at thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-755-4281. 800-755-4281. 800-755-4281. That's 800-755-4281.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from the AAMP.TV mobile studio in downtown Chicago on a beautiful day. Folks, this segment is brought to you by the American Business Trust Company, helping companies with strategy, sales and marketing, capital resources, and establishing companies with physical locations or on the internet. For more information, contact American Business Trust Company at 657-600-1876. That's 657-600-1876. Or check them out online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com. Abtrustco for American Business Trust Company. And welcome back to everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM over in Las Vegas, WDJY over in Atlanta, KCAA in sunny Southern California, our NBC News, CNBC Financial, CBS Sports affiliate, KSIX down in South Texas, as well as our friends up in Boston, WBNW, Honolulu, 1500 CBS Sports, 1500 KHKA, and everywhere else around the country. Lots going on here at the Sports Circus. Everybody streaming on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. And we are here with two-time Super Bowl champion and American Ninja Warrior, Tyrone Poole, and his sidekick for the today and mentor, and that would be State Representative from the state of Georgia, Dewey McClain. Big round of applause. Look at it. He said represent. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. All right, in the last segment, I asked you a question about getting the fans back in the stadiums. Now, as we move forward very quickly here, the Atlanta Braves most definitely will be in the playoff picture. What's going to happen in Major League Baseball? Are we going to see a lot more fans in the seats, or we can see any fans in the seats? And on top of it, Dewey, let me ask you this question, because being on the lawmaker side, if the National Football League can allow fans in their seats, shouldn't Major League Baseball, as an outside venue, be able to at least offer the same? And one other thing, shouldn't Major League Baseball allow their teams, since they've been playing all season, in this shortened season, they've been playing all season, shouldn't they allow their teams, their playoff teams, to have their home field advantage, even if they happen to get into the World Series, instead of playing in a neutral park? That's kind of ridiculous, don't you think?
Well, you got a lot of questions there, but I want to answer the first one. I think that every one of the sports, major sports, pro sports, they chose what they wanted to do. When I say they chose, basketball decided to go to the bubble, and they let the parents, they let the wives, the significant others, and family in during the playoffs. Football, well, they chose what they chose in the NFL. Baseball chose not to have any. Soccer has chose not to have any. I would like to see baseball because the Braves are a new Truist Park. It used to be SunTrust Park, but it's Truist Park now. But it's in the Battery, where it's a nice location where people still go to the Battery because it's in like a mall area, and so people still go and watch them on screen. But the Braves are not they're not receiving any of the economic impact. So what I like to see is to allow some fans in, and let's see where it goes, because as you saw, the Big Ten is saying they're gonna come back and they've kind of put the powder back in the pistol and said they're gonna let football come back in the fall. They don't know when, but we've got to try something eventually.
And Sal, you came here to the Battery, so you know exactly what Dewey's talking about. The Braves Stadium is in a great location. I'm like, literally, you can get a room at the Omni, and you don't have to go nowhere. Everything is in walking distance, restaurants, the stadium. Go check a game out, whether the Braves win or lose. And I also got to say this about the Braves. The fireworks at the end of the game or doing a home run is spectacular, but it's a nice setup. But I think they should allow the fans to come back. I believe they will at some point. Again, Dewey alluded to it. The Big Ten has made their decision. I knew at some point they were going to make a decision, not because of so much of the virus, I believe, even though that was part of it, but I believe when Justin Fields got all of those other athletes to sign that petition, it put so much pressure on the administration, those that make the calls for the Big Ten, that they said, you know what, we don't want to jeopardize possibly a lawsuit or something, so we got to make a decision. Right. And unanimously, they made a decision to get the game going back again.
Yeah, guys, I think, Tyrone, exactly what you said. I was talking about this with somebody yesterday, and I said, at some point, if the players band together, because remember now, they're all 18 years of age, right? They can sign a contract. They can fight for their country. They can vote for their elected officials, just like good old Dewey right over there. But at the end of the day, these kids or their guardians, they could have slapped an enormous class action lawsuit against the Big Ten Conference. That could have been an absolute disaster, and that could have financially sunk the Big Ten as we know it today. Agree or disagree, Dewey?
I agree, because you went to all these kids have scholarships. So so you gave me a scholarship for me to play football. You didn't give me a scholarship for me to stay home. So therefore, what I saw was, so eventually money's going to run out, and we know football is the cash cow. I love baseball, I love basketball, I love soccer, I love all of the other sports that you have, but we know which one is the sport. It's not swimming. So I saw the players banding together, which was the best thing they could have done, but says, we want to play. Give us the opportunity to play. And you can make it safe. We can make it safe. High school has done it. They've made it safe. And I think we've got to keep doing that.
From an elected official standpoint, what is it that you have to go through, Dewey, when you're going through the writing the bill, the getting the bill passed and so forth? How much lobbying do you have to do? How much work across the aisle do you have to do, generally speaking, just to get something done? And then I want you to take that into the athletic world, because, let's face it, on both sides of the aisle, what do we have? We have sports fans, right?
And that was one of the reasons that Governor Kemp, I was kind of glad when he stood up and says, if we want to watch Georgia football, we got to mask up. We've got to help stop the spread. He's not going to mandate that you wear a mask, but he's asking you to mask up. So that's one. Two, on the aisle, you've got to realize there's 180 of us, and so it takes 91 to pass. It takes 91 to pass a bill. So you have to work across the aisle. You have to learn how to do that if you want anything passed, because you want good policy. And that's what I think that the Big Ten was trying to say. Let's wait and see how these others do, and then we'll reevaluate us. And I think that's what we do with bills. I told you earlier about a bill about we're obese. And so we could not get it. We got it passed, but the governor didn't sign it because he did not want a mandate. He did not want a mandate that everybody wears, that every school had to give a child recess. So what we have to do, all of us, is say what is good for those athletes. And if enough of those athletes, by getting together, they can, just bear squeak loud enough, they will get a chance to play.
And we want to welcome everybody who's watching and listening to the great Dewey McClain. We are here in his home, the Georgia State Capitol. How many sports shows other than the Sports Circus can do what we do? Nobody. So that's why you need to get with us. But you know what, Sam? I want to pull your chain a little bit because I know you sometimes have a little problem with the SEC. Now, the SEC was the one that went ahead and said, you know what, we're going to allow fans to come back. Now, Big Ten, Pac-12, they're going to come around. But the SEC, they were the front runners, so I'm pretty sure they got a big smile on their face saying, see, I told y'all it could be done. That's why we're the #1 conference.
I like you said we. How do you go with we are the #1 conference? As I understand it, Georgia Tech is right there in Atlanta. That would be the ACC.
The ACC too. Well, everybody always say that the SEC is the powerhouse. Now, ACC, much love, but everybody knows what real football is in the SEC.
Well, I don't know. Clemson won last year. LSU won. So what can I say?
I gotta tell you, I don't know. For me personally, I'm thinking ACC. Look, I'm a Duke guy. It is what it is. They're not that great in football, but they're not that bad either. But I'll tell you what, in the ACC, I'm sorry, Duke is in there. Notre Dame should be in the Big Ten, geographically speaking. But then again, I went to undergrad in the Big Ten. I don't want Notre Dame anywhere near the schools that I went to anyway. In my opinion, they should just stay independent and have their own broadcasting company, which they already have the Notre Dame Broadcasting Company anyway. Why are they even fooling with the ACC? Come on, man.
Well, and I see, I'm gonna let Tyrone answer that because I thought they would stay independent forever because they could control whatever they wanted to do, and they didn't have to be tied to any bowl or anything of that nature. So I would have stayed independent.
Well, I'll say this now. Of course, I went to an HBCU. Much love to the HBCU schools. Can't forget, power to the people. But you know what? Notre Dame, they could not stay independent because once that championship game came around, now if it was just bowl games, then yes, stay independent. But in order to play in that championship game, you had to come from a conference. So for them to ever say they wanted to be a champion again, they had to join a conference. So it was just a matter of which conference they wanted to join. But you know what? We are here on the Sports Circus in the Georgia State Capitol with Sal the Ringmaster, Dewey McClain, Representative Dewey McClain. We'll be back with more Sports Circus from the Georgia State Capitol.
Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away. This is Sal Tozzolino, host and remaster of the Sports Circus. Why listen to the same old dog and pony show that you've heard all day long? The Sports Circus covers everything that other shows don't or are too scared to cover. There's no primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the mouth and you'll beg for more. You can call in and participate with our chaos if you dare. Join me and celebrity guests for Havoc and Mayhem weekdays at 5 p.m. Pacific here on AAMP.TV or stream the show live at thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus, so we prove it every day.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-755-4281. 800-755-4281. 800-755-4281. That's 800-755-4281.
Hello and welcome back to the Sports Circus. You're probably saying, you know what, something's unusual about this screen. You got two people here today. Well, my name is Tyrone Poole, two-time Super Bowl champion, American Ninja Warrior. I'm joined today by Representative Dewey McClain. We are here at his home at the Georgia State Capitol. The Sports Circus, we are working that thing, along with our ringmaster, Sal, the great Sal. This segment is brought to you by the Tyrone Poole 38 Foundation, where we believe in reforming, refilling, and restoring success in the family life. If you want to learn more about the Tyrone Poole 38 Foundation, or you want to donate, if you want to donate. Donate. Go to TyronePoole38Foundation.org. Again, it's TyronePoole38Foundation.org. And from the Georgia State Capitol, back to the ringmaster himself, Sal.
All right, and a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. And that includes all of our friends that are in hotels. Yes, 650,000 rooms from coast to coast. And we've got some more news coming up. We can't tell you, not just yet. But, recently we added television service in Cincinnati. We are actually on the air 4 times a week in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio market, Northern Kentucky. A big round of applause for everybody that's watching over on Cincinnati Bell 811, and that would also be Spectrum Cable 186. All right, got a great story here. Listen to this. It may not sound great at the outset, but I promise you it's going to be good, and I think you two are going to like this one. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, they brought in a couple of tight ends, a tackle, and a quarterback for a tryout, by the way. Now, evaluating talent, of course, is a full-time job in the NFL, even if the Cowboys hadn't seen injuries to Blake Jarwin, Leighton Vander Esch, Cam Irving, of course, off the field from Sunday night's opener. Now, the team would still be expected to at least kick the tires on some new names just because. Now, given the season-ending ACL tear to their tight end, Blake Jarwin, it's not surprising to see a couple more on the club's tryout list. Taking a look at tackles, of course, is always smart for offensive line depth, especially after Dak Prescott was sacked 3 times in Los Angeles. There are no linebackers trying out, though, so Dallas seems content to roll out with what they've got. But they are getting an up-close and personal look at a quarterback with a unique claim to fame. Now, quarterback Jalen Morton was an undrafted free agent out of Prairie View A&M. He signed with the Packers but was released early in August. While Dallas' stable for passers would apparently seem full, Morton may be worth way more than a look-see, if only to gauge his notable arm strength. According to his bio, Morton, who has a degree in mechanical engineering, can throw the football 100 yards. Wow. That's crazy. That's a huge arm. Now, here we go. He says, the last time I did it was late July before camp. He told Sports Illustrated over his summer in Green Bay, quote, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling good about the season. I feel good about it. I feel good about it because I know my arm strength. I used to play baseball. Yes. And I know the type of conditioning to keep in shape and keep doing that. I've seen Aaron Rodgers flick the ball and it goes 75 yards. I can only imagine what he would do if he had a couple of hitches and said, let it go. But I guess what I'm trying to say here, guys, is you got a guy tried out for the Cowboys. That guy can hurl it 100 yards. Now, I know I could throw a baseball 100 yards, or at least I used to be able to. We used to play long toss on a football field from goal line to goal line. But a football, this is crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy. Just the pure physics of both of the balls. Baseball, smaller, less air, less resistance. Football, bigger, more resistance. So to throw it 100 yards, wow, I would hate to catch a quick out by this guy or a slant route, man. I'm like, he would probably, the ball would stick to your shoulder pads. I'm like, it's coming in with so much velocity. And I'm like, does the leather even stay on the ball when he throw it? Because he throw 100 yards. What I'm trying to say is 100 yards, that's a lot of velocity and a lot of power, people.
And that's more power than you can think of, Tyrone. But what you got to say is, I would think the altitude has to be a lot to do with it because
do you play ball in Denver? That's what I can't exactly.
That's what
you play ball in Denver.
It had to be because you just can't do the air will bring it down and push it down. So again, like I said, and if it was hard, now it depends what kind of football it was too. Now let's be honest. If it was a nice,
it ain't a Nerf football, guys. He's not throwing a Nerf. This guy's throwing the real deal.
And I'm like, now, when you look at all these quarterback challenges, when they have it, these guys are throwing it. The most I ever seen was probably, about 80-something yards. And you add on another 20-something yards? Come on, man. I'm like, now, I always thought Brett Favre had a strong arm. I always thought a lot of these quarterbacks had strong arms. But I'm like, come on, 100 yards, man. That is unbelievable. That's unbelievable, Sam. I got to see that.
Tyrone, the Chicago Bears had a guy by the name of Bobby Douglas that would throw the ball, and he really gave the meaning, hit it between the numbers. He would throw it, and the ball would stick in the guy's chest in between the numbers. He only knew how to throw one speed, right? Wow. But can you imagine a guy that could throw the ball with a little bit of air under it, too, so he can come over the top? This guy's on the 1 yard line, and here he comes over the top, and the receiver's crossing the goal line, and here comes the ball in his arm. That's unbelievable.
You talk about jam fingers, and when you retire, Chuck Bednarik. You ever seen Chuck Bednarik's fingers? I'm like, this guy, I don't think he could give people clear directions. Be like, okay, go to the right. Which way you looking? Because your finger's pointing this way, another finger pointing that way. But I'm like, if you're going to catch this guy's football, I'm like, you better get some duct tape. You better get some duct tape to put around your finger because he's going to break the joints.
I don't know. I think we got to use some of those stickum. Those stickum was the best stuff in the world. Lester Hayes made it all messed up, the glue type. And that's the reason they got rid of them. Tyrone, you probably heard about the gloves. Y'all had gloves. See, we had the real stuff. We had to stick them. And when the ball hit it, it just stuck.
Right, that's that Fred Biletnikoff sticky hand stuff, right?
Yes.
All of your socks.
Yeah, wait a minute. And the reason they got rid of it because once they would wash people's clothes with the ball, which is you got on everybody else's clothes, and that was a problem. And then once it got on the football, when you mess with it, the quarterback couldn't throw it, the center couldn't hike it, and the referee couldn't work with it. So that's the reason they outlawed the stick-em.
Now I'm gonna tell you something that I did do. Now I didn't use the stick-em like all that gunk that you see on the socks and everything.
You did.
Now they used to have the spray, and I think they still have it now. But when they go to put the pre-wrap on, they would spray it down with a sticky substance. It's in a can. Now what I would do, I would take and spray the inside of my gloves with that sticky stuff, and it gave a little bit more traction to the gloves. So now again, I didn't put none of that gunk and all that gel on my sock, but I did use a little bit of spray.
Velcro. He was like Velcro, man.
Right. Well, guys, this is the best part about the story, in my opinion. I love the fact that he come out of the HBCU of Prairie View A&M. A big round of applause. Got to give a little bit of love to the HBCUs out there. That's a really nice story, but I guess the bigger problem that I have here is, look, this guy's got a huge arm. And you would imagine that there'd be a little bit more scouting. This goes back to the scouting combine, Tyrone, for the HBCUs. And tell us the significance of that and what the people and the NFL and the networks for television, what the fans are missing out on.
Well, I think the HBCU combine was brought on because of pressure. Pressure meaning they have the normal NFL combines in Indianapolis, and there was nothing being done, like you said, for these small schools, HBCUs. So again, we all know when you get a lot of people together and make a lot of noise, somebody gonna pay attention. So the NFL finally said, you know what, we're going to start an HBCU combine. Now, unfortunately, the pandemic caused the inaugural HBCU combine not to be done, but it's not going to go away. I think it's going to be something that you're going to continuously see, and it's going to give these HBCU athletes an opportunity to be seen in front of GMs, owners, and scouts, those that may not have opportunity to go to Indianapolis doing the annual NFL combine. But I like the story. It gives an opportunity for athletes to showcase their talent. So kudos for the HBCU schools and the NFL having this HBCU combine.
But they should do it. But they always need to make sure we do something for all the smaller schools. I mean, the NAIAs, the Division IIIs.
Right.
I mean, because they don't get a chance to, they don't take 330 guys to the combine. It ain't like they take all 5,000 or 50,000 or whatever. They only take a select few. So I'm very happy that they decided to do that.
Right. And, in the next segment, because we're going to close out this segment, in the next segment, I want to talk a little bit about the FCS and the FBS and how it is a bunch of BS, in my opinion. Because I have to tell you, there is a terrible disparity amongst these athletes, whether you're playing Division I, II, III ball, NAIA, whatever the heck. At the end of the day, there is a problem with fairness from a scouting standpoint and a talent evaluation standpoint. It just seems to be going on, and nobody seems to be addressing it. Let's learn a little bit more about that in the next segment. Tyrone, take us to break.
Well, you know what? We're going to come back. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about all kinds of sports. We got politics. We got Dewey McClain here inside his home, the Georgia State Capitol. The Sports Circus is inside the Georgia State Capitol. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. You don't want to miss what's coming up.
Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away. This is Sal Tozolino, host and ringmaster of the Sports Circus. Why listen to the same old dog and pony show that you've heard all day long? The Sports Circus covers everything that other shows don't or are too scared to cover. There's no primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the mouth and you'll beg for more. You can call in and participate with our chaos if you dare. Join me and celebrity guests for Havoc and Mayhem weekdays at 5 p.m. Pacific here on AAMP.TV, or stream the show live at thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day. So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal from the AAMP.TV mobile studios here in downtown Chicago. That's AAMP.TV. This segment brought to you in part by Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Cali Vegas can help them with everything they need to get out of sitting in their traffic hours every day, and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Cali Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119. Or visit them at calivegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports Coast to coast, including our friends over in Las Vegas. We are a Las Vegas-based show, and that would be a Magic 97.9 FM. Big welcome to everybody else streaming on television, their mobile devices, on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, as well as those streaming at thesportscircus.com. Back here with two-time Super Bowl champion and American Ninja Warrior, Tyrone Poole. And we also have Dewey McClain from the Georgia State House of Representatives next to Lady Liberty at the state capitol. A big round of applause for these guys. Yes! Yes! All right.
Can't nobody do it with the Sports Circus. We're the only one that can do this because of what? Because of great partners like Representative Dewey McClain. So, hey, the Sports Circus doing it big. We do it big.
Well, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have you all in the people's house with our freedom liberty, with our freedom lady. You know, it's in fact what we always try to tell people is she has a sword in one hand and a light in the other. And a lot of folks get her mixed up with the liberty. But you know, she has a different thing. She doesn't have a book. She got a sword, and she does have a light to show you the way. So you know what that means, don't you, Sam? That means that we will protect and defend.
You know what I love is I love a woman that can defend. And it just so happens that you two are around a woman that can defend. Listen, if she can swing that sword, let me tell you something. I'm a big fan of that. All right, hey guys, I want to run something by you real quick here. I want you to hear a little bit about this Ohio State linebacker. His name is Wyatt Davis. Now, Wyatt, he had declared himself he didn't want to play because we have this ongoing situation with the health thing, right? Now, with the Big Ten announcing its return to the field, Ohio State offensive lineman Wyatt Davis is hoping to be a part of it. Now, Davis announced his intention to opt out of the season and to clear for the 2021 NFL Draft last week. Mind you, last week. Talk about bad timing. And in an interview that was done with Yahoo Sports. Now that the Big Ten has reversed course and aims to begin its season just I think 23rd, 24th of October, Davis said in a statement just yesterday that he wants to return to Ohio State football. Quote, I was incredibly happy to learn today, being yesterday, that the Big Ten's decision to play football this fall they're going to play. Thank you, President Johnson, Mr. Smith, Dr. Borchers, and to all who had worked so hard to keep our safe team in returning. I want the Buckeye Nation to know that I want to play this season for Ohio State, and I'm working now to make that a reality. Thank you for support. Go Buckeyes, close quote. Now, Davis said last week that uncertainty about the season ultimately led to his decision, and he called it heartbreaking. And so Davis never signed with an agent, making his path back to the field in Columbus seemingly viable. Now, it's great news, of course, for Ohio State and for Davis. I mean, the guy is 6'4", 315, kind of a small human in the grand scheme of things. Just kidding, of course. But I want to know about all those players that had declared for the draft. Now, both of you played in the NFL, and imagine if you were declared or your conference said, we're not going to play football. And this is where that lawsuit things come in that I mentioned a couple of segments ago. And let's just say the conference turns right around and reverses course like it did, but you had declared for the NFL draft because your conference wasn't going to play. So now we have an issue where it's a cause-effect relationship. How would that affect this guy if he wasn't able to play because he did sign with an agent, but that was a cause-effect relationship only because at that case, if the Big Ten would have said, sorry, we're not playing this year, and they stuck to their guns, but now since they reverse courses, they have to reverse his availability to go back and play football because it was contingent upon, his decision was anyway, about playing in the season. How do you feel about that as a lawmaker, Dewey, and what is your point of view on such a topic?
Well, Sal, let me just say this. The thing that's not only in the NFL, but the NBA, once you sign with an agent, you become a professional. You've left your amateur status. And so that was one of the things that I'm glad that he didn't sign with an agent. And I always tell folks, once you sign with somebody professional, then you are a professional. You can't go back to being an amateur. So I'm glad that the Big Ten did reverse their decision. But what I also want you to understand, though, is that once an athlete, an amateur athlete, signs with any kind of agent, he or she becomes a professional. Regardless if they ever become a professional or not. Even in the NBA, when in the green room, once those underclassmen do not sign with an agent and they're not drafted, they can go back to college and play. But if they sign with an agent, if they are done, they are done, they are done.
Now, I want to add this in as well. A lot of athletes probably don't understand this either. You can wait until the last minute to sign with an agent. You don't have to, just because you're coming out in the draft that you got signed with an agent. You don't have to. You can wait until the last moment. And the other thing is the NFL or basketball, NBA may be the same way, but they have a salary cap. So you kind of know where you're going to be drafted at and what you're going to get paid. So really, an agent is there to, I think, is good for the middle of the road guy who really don't know what your draft status is. But if you know what your draft status is, you really can wait till the last minute to find you an agent. So this way, you keep yourself eligible if things don't work out to go back to school. So it's a lot of like little hidden inside information that these agents won't tell you because they want you to sign, because they want you to be dedicated to them. And then even on top of that, if you do sign with an agent, you're not really in stone with that agent until you sign an NFL contract. Once you sign an NFL contract, then you are obligated to that agent. Even if you leave him, you still have to pay him a portion of that contract. But until you sign that contract, you can leave an agent, go find somebody else, just like turning your light switch on and off.
Well, what Tyrone said is that in the NFL and the NBA, they've already got a cap. So if you're a first round pick, you've got a certain amount of money you're gonna make, a second round pick, and it's gonna be on a sliding scale. So therefore, you really don't need an agent because you're only gonna get what is offered. You know, you're not, a third person picked in the first round will not get as much as the first one, and he won't get as much as the second one. It's a sliding scale all the way down.
So my question lies with the possibility, let's just say that this particular player signed with an agent. Let's just kind of act this out for a moment. And let's say that it was based on what the Big Ten had said with their policy. We're not going to play football. But then, because the Big Ten reversed course, and I understand when you sign, you sign. I understand. I have a law degree as well. But I also say, okay, that decision was based upon something that was on the outside that caused him in his path to take a detour. And it's not that he wanted to, it's just that they weren't playing. And so I guess my question as the lawmaker, I would like to know from you, Dewey, is it possible that if a player had signed and then his conference reversed course, because I know there are players that have done this, they reverse course, can they wiggle out of that contract because of the cause-effect relationship between the Big Ten, the university, and that player? What are your thoughts on that?
Now my thoughts on that, and that's what my thoughts are now. My thoughts are is that once a player, something caused that, it's like cause and effect, just like you said, cause and effect. I mean, I would have never signed with an agent or done anything if you hadn't done what you done. So therefore, right. It's got to be an escape clause. Now that's where the lawsuit would come in, because a lot of those players that you said that I can't play because of what I did, then I would probably have a class action suit. I would sue
yes.
based on that fact, on those premises. I would have never done those things if you hadn't never done or said those things.
Correct.
Because you caused me to do those things. There's no way I would have done them. So I think he has a leg to stand on, as we can say. He may have two legs he can stand on with that situation.
Now,
I think there's some recourse.
Can I throw a joke in here? I'm gonna let you pick up, Sam. It's almost like you get a speeding ticket, right? You're going down a hill, a decline, and the hill makes your car go another 5 to 10 miles per hour. So this officer pulls you over and say you were speeding, but you can tell the judge I was going down the hill. So the cause and effect of the hill made my car go faster, which made the police officer pull me over and say that I was speeding, but I wasn't speeding. So that's my joke. That's what it called me first.
That won't fly. You should have put your foot on the brake.
Right. You got something to slow that thing down. But Tyrone, as a player, imagine yourself in this situation where you felt that maybe you were forced because that was your path. You know, we all have a clock. We have an athletic clock in us, right? We have an eligibility clock. We have an athletic clock. But imagine, Tyrone, if you had signed only because your conference said, we're not playing football, we're not going to be doing this, and that causation is there. And guess what? Now you sign the agreement, but now you want out of it because they are bailing out of their position. I think the class action thing is a very legitimate path. And I got to tell you, Dewey, I believe that is going to happen for those that have declared and signed with an agent.
I do too. I mean, I believe that. And what I believe is that what we've got to try to do is make sure that they all stick together. They all stick together and they all say the same thing. That it's no way that I would have done what I done. Only reason I done that was because of what you did. And I think that's a winning recipe to me.
And I think, again, I agree. I think we all agree here that this is an unprecedented time, unprecedented situations. People were forced to make decisions, and now it should be wide open to where they can repeal it and say, you know what, I want to go back to my originality. So definitely, I agree. I think we all on the same point with what we're talking about here.
All right, Tyrone, we have 1 minute. I want you to sign us off from the state capitol there with Dewey. And I want you to tell everybody about what's coming up in the future for Tyrone Poole.
Well, you know what? again, we are here and thankful to Representative Dewey McClain, who, you know what, we may need to get Dewey on, just like you said earlier, Sal, for the political and the official side of things, so that we can appeal to, and just let everybody know how we do it. We're sports, we're politicians, we're everywhere. And as for Tyrone Poole and the Tyrone Poole 38 Foundation and all of my affiliates, there are great things coming up. There are great things coming up for the Sports Circus, and Tyrone Poole is about to do something, maybe a little bit of fitness and sports. But we're going to all do it on AAMP.TV in front of the Sports Circus, and we'll be back next time with more Sports Circus. Thank you for listening.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.